this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Once again, it is Sovereign Saturday. Stay consistent on your path. And that's that sovereign path. You know, you got to stay consistent on it. And consistency is very powerful. I've talked about it in different venues, you know, just building yourself up for body gains, staying consistent in your business. If you are working to become a sovereign man, to have some control in your life, you have to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. It can't be, if you're on the path to sovereignty, to controlling your life and everything, it can't be, oh yeah, okay, one day you're gonna work on it, the next day that you're not. Or the next 3 days that you're not, or every now and then, or it's like, oh, what do I do today? And it's like, oh, let me work on my sovereignty. And then go back to doing whatever you was doing that wasn't helping you at all. One thing with it, and if you hear something in the background, it's cold and a belly up in this joint. Anyway, you have to stay consistent. It's like no ifs, ands, and buts. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you're on the path to sovereignty, it's not gonna start out easy. It ain't gonna start out fun and everything. You're talking about being in a place where you have control over your life. And typically you're not gonna start there. You're gonna start maybe on some job you don't like, living someplace you don't like, even in a relationship that's not really giving you what you want. You gotta start somewhere and you have to be consistent, because I'm gonna tell you what, the path to success in sovereignty is not gonna be a straight line. I wish that it was. Oh no, it's gonna be more like a squiggly circle and everything. You're gonna take some steps forward, but there's gonna be some times you're gonna have some setbacks. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You learn from the setbacks, but you're still gonna have them. But even if you get those setbacks, you still have to be willing to go forward. There's no ifs, ands, and buts, and you have to stay consistent. That's what's gonna keep you there. You gotta have that goal in mind. Because let's just be real, even some of us who are the most sovereign, we're still going. Very, very, very few of us have total control in our lives. That's why I say you want to have control over what you can control and leverage in everything else. You want leverage. You want to be in a position where if you need to get more money, if you need to move, if you need a better relationship, you can just do that. But that takes work. I wish it was easy. I wish it was a 1, 2, 3. You know, it's kind of funny because y'all get, every now and then I'll get somebody and say, well, what are the steps to do to get this? What are the steps? And it could be for whatever. It was like, there's no steps. It's a journey. It's a journey. And I don't care, even if you get there, even if you get to a level of sovereignty, it's still a journey to get to that higher level. And you got to be consistent. You got to stick with it, because let's talk about something. Those days when things aren't going well, and there's going to be those times you're going to wonder, well, you know what? Maybe it's just easy just to follow along the crowd and everything. Those are going to happen. There's going to be days when things aren't going well. You're going to fall in a hole. You're going to have some setbacks. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As I said, those are learning experiences. What you have to do is say, no, you're gonna keep going no matter what, even when you get those setbacks and everything. I don't care what it is. If it's in a business, say you working on a business to be sovereign and everything. Oh, there's gonna be some days you don't get the customers. There's gonna be some days you're not gonna make as much. You might make 10,000 one day, but the next day make 1,000. You're gonna have those moments. You're gonna have to, but you know what keeps you going? You wanna get to the point where you're making 10,000 on a consistent basis. So you're gonna have to learn, you're gonna have to keep working, and you gotta keep going no matter what. You can't give up. That's the bottom line, you can't give up. You gotta just say, okay, this is what I want. I gotta keep going in order to get it, you know? You got to keep going. You got to keep working, you know, and that's very important. That's very important. And when I say it's a path, I'm gonna tell you what with sovereignty. It's not a place you get and that's it. Because even if you get to a point of sovereignty, you get to a point where you have control over your life, where you can and leverage, you still got to maintain it. So it's not like, oh, you get here, oh, you can rest and all of that. No, I wish it was that simple. Oh no, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. It basically becomes a lifestyle. Not a destination, it's a lifestyle. That's the way you're going to live your life until you transition. So you want to be like in your 80s, 90s, maybe 100s. You still on that path, still a work in progress, no matter how sovereign you are. Because I'm gonna tell you what, it is tough to have total control over your life. You can still go for it, but it's still tough. But you still got to stay consistent no matter what. That's the key word. The key word is consistency. You got to stay consistent. You know, me getting to this point, I had to stay consistent. People will say, hey, you're always putting up videos at a certain time, or you're always doing this. Consistency. Even being to this point, you know, I got this plaque over my left shoulder about reaching 100,000 subscribers. I had to be consistent because I started years ago. It wasn't like I wasn't one of those quick rise people. And there were times when I might have gotten only 0 subscribers, but you know what? I stayed consistent. And you know what too? I wasn't even trying. I was just being consistent with my work. See, that's another thing too. Whatever your path is, whatever work that you're doing, whatever your mission is, you gotta stay consistent in it. You can't say, oh, I'm a work and get to, you know, this point of having so many subscribers or making so much money. You gotta just stay consistent in your work because it might take you a while. And there's no shame in that. It is no shame in that. You're just doing with the things that you feel like you need to do. And that's cool. It's nothing wrong with that, trust me. But you still have to be consistent, and it is a path. It is a path, you know? And yeah, you might have some stops here and there, but it's not a destination. It ain't some place you're gonna get and you're gonna stop. Because like I said, even if you reach a point of sovereignty, you have some control in your life, you still have to maintain it. And that's the important thing. That's the important thing. I want y'all to think about that too. Because it is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. It is not just a destination. You get someplace and you can sit back and relax. No, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. Because as I said, very, very, very few of us are going to have just total control. But you still want to have some leverage. You still want to have options. And that's what makes you sovereign, all right? I want y'all to think about that and stay consistent. I don't care what it is. I don't care what your path is, how sovereignty looks to you. Stay consistent on that path, all right? So that's all I have for today. Keep rising to become the sovereign man that you are meant to be. Peace and blessings, y'all.